Hey everyone, welcome back. Adam here with Indie Farm Life. Spring 2024 is officially here. I can't keep up with the grass, and if I don't get ahead of it now, the pond is going to run away from me too. So let's chat a little bit about aeration, algae control, and other plans I have for this year. Let's start with aeration. So if you guys have been with the channel for a while, you'll remember my little dog house here that houses my aerator. You can see the bubbles out there. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I finally had a mishap with this thing. It seized up. So this is your PSA. If you're gonna buy an aerator for your pond, buy it from halfoffponds.com. They aren't paying me to say this, they aren't paying me to say anything, but that pump comes with a 24-month warranty, and I was about 21 months in when it seized up. Sent them an email, they asked me a few questions, proof of purchase, and within about 3 days I had a new one. That's customer service. That's awesome. I'll put a link down below. Half Off Ponds. This here is the #1 thing you need to have if you're gonna have fish in your pond. And I'll link this build video down below as well. Standing here today, the pond actually looks pretty good. As you can see, I got a little algae starting to grow on the bottom. We'll address that. I have some aquatic plants that I may or may not treat. I'm not planning to treat them today anyway. And the tadpoles are out and about. All over. First thing we're going to do today though is jump out in the boat and get our bio blocks in the water. This here is the part of the video where I find a snake. Or a tiger. Not too bad. It's not the nicest boat, but bought it on Facebook for a couple $100 and it came with a trolling motor. Can't be mad about that. This old transom does need to be rebuilt back here though. It's pretty rotten. Rained for years. The transom got rotten. Piece of my childhood, never be forgotten. It was giant battery. Check. If aeration is secret weapon #1, these bacteria blocks would be secret weapon #2. I'll show you them closer in a minute. If you've been with the channel, you know that I use these pretty consistently. But they're not cheap. Those 4 there, $250. I'm throwing them straight in the bottom of the pond. I think I have everything for a 3-hour tour, except for you guys. So let's jump on the boat and roll. Or float. I guess you don't roll in a boat. Jump on a boat and float. It's always a little easier if your boat is actually in the water and you try to get going. Also, this is the first float of 2024. So, let's hope it still floats. Well, the beach looks terrible. I'll show you guys that here in a few too. You'll probably see it as I turn the boat around here in a minute. Drop the prop down here in the deep water rig. All right, bacteria blocks. What are they good for? Improving water clarity, getting rid of fish and plant waste. It's effectively the good bacteria that helps balance out the load in your pond. I think each one of these treats 5 acre-feet of water. Our pond is just about an acre, just about 20-ish feet deep or so, probably a little more in the deeper spots when full. So I usually throw in 4 at a time. They call for, I think, a 60-day window of treatment. I've been using about 4 every 45 days or 50 days because I'm a belt and suspenders kind of guy. So let's go cruise and throw these in. And as we cruise, we'll talk a little bit more about the pond. If you remember in October, I put a video together of how low our pond was. It's come up quite a bit in the last, honestly, 3 weeks. However, still want more water, still not full, haven't ever been full. I know we talked before about changing the topography so we have, more drainage in here. Easier said than done. I'll do some of that, French drains and whatnot. At one point was highly considering drilling a well dedicated to the pond, but I also may try to pull from the well we have on the house. I do like to spread these out as much as I can. Definitely they'll get one pretty close to the aerator, so it helps turn it. And just like that, it was about $60. Having a pond's a quick way to spend some cash. But man, it's so worth it. That's why I want this thing full. When it is full, it is so much prettier. Looks more like a lake than it does a giant hole with water in it. Tell you what, the wind. I can't keep this thing. I need a captain to help steer me around while I'm doing this. You guys hear the white cap sitting in the front of the boat? Pistol whip this thing around here. Pretty deep right there. I'm guessing about 17, 18 feet. If you're trying to buy these things, honestly, check out Amazon. Why am I going in circles? Honestly, the cheapest place I found is Amazon. I do think they work. I've never gone an extended period of time of not putting them in, but whether it's these or the aerator or the dye, the combination thereof, I mean, the regimen I've got going right now has kept this water looking pretty great. And with fish in here now, you know, you've got them and all their waste. And as the pond matures, it's not going to get easier to keep it clean. So far, these aeration, dye, and a little bit of algicide I've used, not much at all, have really kept things nice. I'll stick this baby right by the aerator. I might spin you guys around so you can see what I see. Woohoo! And we'll throw the next one or the last one kind of out there by the dock. All right, that's 4. Here, we'll go talk water level while we're actually in the water. So we creep up here to the overflow. If you see the rope around the overflow, dead ahead, land hoy, that's kind of our high water mark, and you can kind of actually see a little bit of it on the water line on the overflow itself. That's our high water mark, I think, last May, but it doesn't stay that high for that long. Once we start getting into some dry summer months, it falls off pretty quick. We do not have anything feeding this pond, really. We got the acreage just nearby and that cut that's dead ahead. This is the cut where a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, we drained all of that in here. There was a pond kind of north of our pond. Uh-oh, we got whitecaps, ladies and gentlemen. I have not put dye in it yet this year. We still have quite a bit in here from last year, so until we get a lot more water coming in here, I may just hold off. I don't want to look in, you know, chemical blue, but I do like the Caribbean color that it is kind of right now. Go over here by the aerator. Like I said, half off ponds, man, they shipped me a new one. No questions asked. I mean, asked me a couple questions, but no hassle. It's really nice. The dye is nice and helps with the algae a little bit, but it's these blocks and this aerator. We have quite a bit of fish activity out here right now. But as you look around here and you see kind of the dirt ring, this pond would come up another 15, 18 inches if we were full, and it gets really big really fast. There's a shot of the beach I was telling you about. Isn't that terrible? Add that to the maintenance list. All right, bacteria block's done. We spoke about the aerator. We get this boat out of the water. We'll treat some of this algae and talk about other plans. I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. Everybody look at me because I'm sailing on a boat. All right, algicide. What do I use? I use Cutrine Plus. They make a granulated version, which is what I typically use, and a liquid version. I have both, but I only really use the granulated. Let me show you what this is. I bought it in this smaller 12-pound container, which has been awesome because it's now my bucket. But again, using Amazon, I've been buying the 30-pound bags. Much more economical. Granulated version, all I treat with is, or all I do to treat really, is I hit the algae that's growing shoreline. I'm not concerned with anything out there. I rarely have much more than what you see here. This filamentous algae, I think that's what that one is. That is. So if I stay on top of this, do this once every 3 weeks or so, not that bad. Fill up my canister. I think I can usually, if I go around the pond, this makes it about halfway around the pond. This, not the bag. The bag lasts me a couple treatments anyway. But again, talking about money and pond upkeep, I think that thing's like 130 bucks, 115, something around there. I'll walk and talk. You can listen, take in the scenery and ignore me if you want. Other plans for the pond though, more water. We love more water. Like I said, it makes it look so different when it's full. And I wouldn't even know because it's never been full. Someone in the comments is probably going to torch me for how I'm applying this, but you know what? It's worked for me. I haven't killed any fish. I've got plenty of air in the pond. I'm not worried about it. You do you, I'll do me. Other plans for the pond though, that fish habitat. Guys, how many times have I talked about it? It's one of those things though, it's just not been high priority. I want it to be done. Other things just get in the way. Darn kids. The dock's been awesome. Gotta clean the beach up. That'll be a short order thing. They'll do that here next couple days. Honestly, just enjoy it. Bring my son out here and do a little fishing. The fish habitat would help and go a long way to making the fishing better, I'm sure. And these blooms are usually worse in the spring. Early spring, when things wake up, is when you'll typically get one. And I'll get one late July, August, when things get real warm and the water's really warm. Other than that though, it's never been crazy out of control for me. And I think as long as you put together a regimen and stick by it, it'll be all right. All right, I'm gonna walk the other side and finish this up and I'll jump back on here. Got the whole thing treated. Like I said, I'll link the Cutrine Plus down below, as well as those bio blocks and the aerator. One thing I wanted to point out, if you guys remember last fall, I put some stakes in the water to monitor the water level. If you guys can see, there's a stake about 5-6 feet out here, and it's probably 10 inches tall. So the water has come up, looks like probably a foot since October. But as you look at the dig line, kind of where the grass stops and the dirt starts, that's where the full should be. So if you carry that across, we have a whole lot more water that we need. I got some white caps on there today. If it was full, we might actually get white caps. And on that note, real quick, one last time, I know I harp on it basically in every video of the pond I've ever made. That would be full. Easily 18 inches or more. You carry that level all the way across here, this thing looks like a different pond. As I have built this channel and continue adding videos, thematically, the pond is always the #1 topic of discussion. The videos are always the most viewed. People out there generally have questions about what we've built and kind of want to do it the same for themselves. So to the extent any of you have questions about how do you attract geese to poop all over your dock, let me know. That's a problem. I'm gonna need to get a coyote that's like trained. I think they call that a dog. But anyway, if you guys have questions about how to make your pond look like this, drop the comments below. Happy to help and answer. This thing has brought me and my family and my friends so much joy. Everyone loves coming out here, whether it's, you know, the 12-month-old baby playing in the baby pool on the dock, or the bigger kids up here playing in the sand. I mean, the trees on the beach. Right there's another one of those stakes from October. So yeah, I would say at least a foot since. Not too bad. Just need a couple feet more.